All right, these are the top pitchers in the 1956 and 1941 card sets. We changed things up a little bit with a new revamped league, and we are bringing in 9 star pitchers into our league environment, including Sandy Koufax and Bob Gibson, Justin Verlander, and Greg Maddux. So these players from the 41 and 56 set will perhaps represent the number 2 or number 3 pitchers on a team. However, you never know. Maybe a team will go all in on hitting at first, and these pitchers will be the aces of those teams. So starting out, I'll try to go through these relatively quick. You can always freeze the video and take a look for yourself. So starting out, we've got Whit Wyatt of the 1941 Dodgers, 288 innings pitched on the card. He'll have 1/3 of those available in our 42-game season. No full sevens on the card, you'll notice. I always look for how many hit chances on sevens there are on a pitcher's card, because those are where the most rolls are going to be. Home run split chances are just 1 to 3, and he's got a few extra walks versus lefties. +1 hold for Whit Wyatt. Wyatt is on the 41 Dodgers. Here's Bucky Walters of the 1941 Reds. 302 innings available for Bucky Walters. The only 7 versus righties is a single 1 to 3 chance at 4-7. The only home run chance is a 1 to 2 on 5-5 versus righties. He does have that 4-7 walk versus lefties, a 0 hold. I bring up the home run chances right away, because that is one theme that you're going to see, especially with the 56 pitchers. There are a lot of home runs on the card. Personally, I like to look for pitchers that don't have any home runs, and I'll be looking forward to season 2 when we have the 1911 pitchers who do not give up nearly as many home runs. Here's Elmer Riddle. Elmer Riddle of the 41 Reds. 217 innings pitched on the card. A -4 hold for Elmer Riddle. He's got low home run split chances, mostly split rolls versus righties. And 4-7 is just a 1 to 2 for a double. Elmer Riddle of the 41 Reds. Whitey Ford of 1956 New York Yankees is the next pitcher we'll talk about. 226 innings on the card. -6 hold for Whitey Ford. And I remind you that Riddle had a -4 hold. In this league, there's going to be some base stealers, as Jackie Robinson and Barry Bonds and, of course, Joe Morgan will all be stealing some bases. So it's good to have those high hold guys, especially if you have a catcher who doesn't have a great arm that can really help you out. It's all split rolls for hits versus lefties for Whitey Ford. He does have that home run 1 to 6 at 4-5 versus lefties. There's a couple extra walks on the card. He is a starter 9, relief 3, so there is some creative things you could potentially do with him. I will mention with lefties that some people are concerned about starting lefties, and there are a lot of lefty killers in the league. However, Sandy Koufax and Carl Hubble are both in the league, so are you going to just not start those guys? I mean, at some point, a good, strong lefty is going to be able to get the outs and get you some wins. Speaking of lefties, there's another one, Thornton Lee of the 1941 White Sox, 300 innings on the card. You'll note, however, though, that he is not carded as a reliever, so he can be subject to his point of weakness right from the first inning if you do bring him out of the bullpen. He is a 5-7 guy. What I mean by that is you'll see a lot of pitchers, it's a typical pattern. You'll see hit chances at 5-7. He's one of them. But everything else on the card is a split roll except for the 6-5 versus righties, which includes a home run 1 to 6 chance, and the 6-8 walk. -1 hold for Thornton Lee. 300 innings, though, that's a workhorse. Kurt Davis of the 41 Brooklyn Dodgers. That 41 team on the Dodgers, they had a lot of pitching and some real good ball players. Kurt Davis only had 154 innings, but they are good ones. This card is almost entirely blank on sevens, except for the 1 to 7 single chance on 6-7. He does have the home run 1 to 6 chance on 4-9. He's a starter 9, relief 4. He's got a -3 hold. So yeah, only 54 innings. That's only going to give you about 51 1/3 innings in our league. So maybe he's one of your top relief pitchers, maybe a spot starter, but he's a valuable player to have in your pitching staff. Kurt Davis of the 41 Dodgers. Here's another lefty with a big hold. That's Johnny Antonelli. Johnny Antonelli, -6 hold, 56 Giants, 258 innings on the card. He's got a few extra walks versus lefties. Home run 1 to 7 split chance on 6-5. 5-7 is mostly just singles. He is a 5-7 guy versus righties, but mostly singles on that. Home run 1 to 5 split chance on 6-5. He's a starter 8, relief 5. You can do some creative things with a pitcher like Johnny Antonelli. Maybe in certain parks, certain teams you start him, and against other teams maybe you bring him out of the bullpen. Here's Early Win of the 1956 Cleveland Indians. Early Win, -2 hold, 278 innings on that card. He's definitely a workhorse. The right-hander is tough on righties with no 7s versus righties. He does have the home run 1 to 4 split chance on the 5-4. He does have some extra walks versus lefties and a home run 1 to 6 split roll on 5-5, but overall, this is a very good card. Early Win of the 56 Cleveland Indians. Max Lanier is the next card we'll talk about. He's another guy similar to Kurt Davis, only 154 innings. Max Lanier, however, is a lefty. -1 hold for him, very low home run chances. He does give up walks on 4-7 versus both left and right, but otherwise not a lot of hits on the card. You can have him as a spot starter with 7 innings as a starter before he hits his point of weakness, or he's a relief 3. Valuable guy, Max Lanier, lefty from the St. Louis Browns in 1941. Here's Bob Feller. He threw a lot harder than almost anybody else in his time, and this card to me reflects that a little bit. 1941 Cleveland, 343 innings. I did not stutter. That's 343 innings he pitched in that season. That's extremely valuable to have a guy like that. Does have the extra walks, but not a lot of hits. I mentioned in a previous video, it kind of reminds me of 1940s Nolan Ryan. Throwing hard, a little bit wild, but not a lot of hits. Does have that 1 to 4 home run split on the 6-5, but it's an interesting card to have. He does have the +1 hold, so with all those extra walks, you might want to have a good, solid defensive catcher when Bob Feller is on the mound. For the 1941 Browns, here's Howie Pollette. I don't know. I should have maybe done more research. Howie does only have 70 innings, but no home runs on the card, so I wanted to point him out. He does have those extra walks versus righties. Somebody's going to take him, and he's going to be a helpful player for you as a lefty out of the pen, maybe a loogie in certain situations. It's pretty tough on lefties there. Howie Pollette of the 41 Browns. Jim Tobin of the 1941 Boston Braves, 238 innings pitched on the card. -4 hold for Tobin. Low split roll home runs on 6-5 versus both left and right. 5-7 guy versus both left and right. So a good solid card to have, good player, Jim Tobin. Bob Lemon of the 1956 Cleveland Indians is the next player to talk about. 255 innings on the card. No 7 hits or walks on the card. Completely blank on 7s. It's a bunting A. Does give up some extra home run chances versus righties. But you can see why Bob Lemon was considered one of the better pitchers of his time. Bob Lemon of the 56 Cleveland Indians. Last player we'll talk about here is Lou Burdett of the 56 Milwaukee Braves after Boston moved to Milwaukee. So there's a few things to talk about with Lou Burdett here. He does have the bunting A. He's a right-handed pitcher, a 0 hold. He does have 256 innings, but look at the home run chances versus righties. At the same time, though, he's tough on lefties with no 7s versus lefties. And we do like to look for the reverse split guys who, a right-hander who's tough on lefties. Well, you're going to see a lot of lefties in the lineup versus a right-hander. So there's no 7s on against righties either, but that 5-5 home run 1-11 stands out. 55% chance that that's gone. Plus the ballpark home run chances versus righties. So what do you do with a guy like Lou Burdett? Well, maybe in a pitcher's park or a park that's tough on righties, it could work. You only have that 1 home run chance. You got the extra chance at 5-6, but those ballpark home runs are eliminated for the most part if it's really tough on righties type of park. So I'll leave it up to you, the GM, to decide what you want to do with Lou Burdett. So there you go. Those are 14 of the top pitchers from the 1956 and 1941 card sets. I may have missed a few. I'll continue to look. But all these players represent pitchers that will no doubt be a part of our league and will have a role, whether they are the number 1 pitcher on a team or the number 2 or 3 guy or a valuable bullpen guy or spot starter. As you're building your roster, you got to have those extra pitchers. It's not just all about that number 1 ace. I will plan on coming back with another video talking about some of the top position players available coming up very soon. Thank you and have a great day.